everybody, it's Christine and it's day 25, OMG, of 30 days of sketches best of with Christy's Beautiful Life. And I'm going to show you the sketch and I'm going to show you what I do. So this sketch here is by Page Maps, or for Page Maps. It's got 4 photos. I'm going to use 2. And then it's got like unicorn stuff. I think I'm almost certain I've done this sketch before, and I'm almost even certain I might have used unicorns, but I'm not doing that today. I am taking it and I'm going to flip it. And what I did is I took a snippet and I've plopped it into PowerPoint and I've rotated it, and I've done this so I can show you what I'm going to actually end up doing. So now if you do this with the flip, your photo will be, or my photo, is going to be 3.5 inches tall, and I've got 2 photos, so it's going to be 5 inches long. So now I can kind of trim a 4x6 down just a little bit and have 2 photos going along the bottom. So that's my plan. There's a vertical element. You can kind of see the title. I'm going to probably tweak this just a little bit in this area because obviously I don't want my title. Well, I shouldn't say obviously, but I don't want my title going upside down there. So anyway, I'm going to tweak this just a little bit, but that's kind of where I'm starting. And what I have here is I have these 2 photos of my daughter. I think she and some college friends went out and they were trying to be all, I don't even know, artsy-fartsy on the railroad tracks. And she just looks kind of pretty to me. It's a little hard to see her in some sense, but it is kind of cool because there's this whole railroad track thing going on. So my idea here is I'm going to trim this down because I got so much dead space up here, so I can trim it down, and then I can trim these down just a little, and I can use these as my 2 photos along the bottom. Now the collection I've picked out is this 49 and Market. Is it Avesta? I guess is the name of the collection. I've used this not too long in the past on a different layout. I think this is really pretty, y'all. And I have, there was this whole sheet of like punch outs, and I thought this was neat because I think I may back this with a piece of pattern paper and use that as that square element. And then it has these vertical pieces here. So I'm either going to be able to use something like this, although again, I haven't 100% decided, or I might use one of these because this is like a faux lace. But I'm not certain, y'all. I have to kind of play with this a little bit. So that's kind of where I'm starting. There's tons of little faux elements here. I may have showed in the last video, if you happen to watch the one where I was using this collection, there's all these little bubbles and baubles and stuff. And I have these pretty butterfly deals. And that might work where that it said title or something. I may do something there. I don't actually think I have my title yet, if I'm honest. I don't think I've pulled that out because, well, I just don't have it. So I'm going to have to figure that part out. But that's where I'm starting. I think what I'm going to use, actually I should show you. This I think is going to be my background because I think this is just gorgeous. It's kind of this peachy color with a little bit of wording in here. And then I think I'm going to use this butterfly as the little pattern that's on the right hand side. And I think I'm going to use this for maybe the pattern on the left hand side. And so this will end up kind of going like this with some pattern behind it, which I do have to find something that kind of contrasts, right? And then, yeah, and then the pictures, what I do with them, y'all. Oh, here they are. And so then the pictures are going to kind of come along the bottom as part of the sketch, right? So that's kind of where I'm at, or that's my vision so far. So let me get started and I'll come back in a second. Okay, gang. At this point, I have trimmed down the pictures. They are 3.5 by 5 inches now, and I have double matted them on a kind of like a beigey, orangey, brownish kind of base, and then a green. And I have inked the edges of those mats, and then I'm inking the edges of these papers here with this Vintage Photo Distress Oxide. Now, if I'm honest with you guys, the butterfly paper and the pink paper, the assembly is a little wider than the sketch called for, but it's really not that big a deal. I mean, all that means is when I'm putting my photos down there, I have to pay attention to where those edges fall because I don't want them to fall in the exact same space as the edge of the base. So I just have to pay attention, but otherwise it is a little bit wider, but it's all right. So I'm going to assemble this. I'll kind of fast around in just a second. I'm going to pull out the, there's actually that green square that I showed you also. I have also put the pattern paper behind the green square. Oh, I guess first I pull out this faux lace though. I inked the edges of it. It is a true 12 by 12. So if you bought this collection and you wanted to use this on the far, like on a border or something, it's 100% possible to do that. And so I will have to trim this down because the sketch doesn't call for it to be a full 12 by 12. So I'm going to ink the edge of my little green frame here that I did insert a little piece of pattern paper behind. If I'm honest with you guys, when I first started the layout, and per the sketch, I thought I was going to end up putting some words on the right hand side of this little square here. Spoiler alert, I don't do it. I just don't. It ends up not working in the sense of like, I kind of looked at it and everything, but I had so many embellishments. And again, you'll see this in a minute once I get to go in here. It was really more, I took up more space than I thought, and I really couldn't find I didn't really find anything that really wanted to go there. So anyway, I don't end with a bunch of words there. So here's where I'm just kind of figuring out, okay, if I put this square here and the lace goes here, you know, where are things going to fall? Where are they going to fall? And this is where, so I think also I realized, you know, I'm going to have to trim this lace up a little bit. And it is a little funky because it looks like a piece of, you know, it looks, I'm assuming, I don't know how they make these things. I'm imagining they take a picture and then they somehow transpose that into some kind of software that they print it and laser cut it and all the things. So it looks like an actual piece of lace. So cutting it where it's like parallel to the squareness of the base page was a little bit tricky. So I have to mess with that for just a second. And now I'm putting that back over there. I'm going, okay, where am I going to put all this stuff? Why I'm being so particular is beyond me. But you know what? The sketch had it a certain kind of way, and I kind of wanted to have it that same certain kind of way. So I'm messing around with this for just a second. I use my ATG gun, and I will take a little bit of Nuvo glue and take and get those corners stuck down there just a little bit better. I end up really embellishing the crap out of this thing, if I'm honest with you. The sketch called for basically a little circle element, and it had a little unicorn there, which, I mean, tells me you're supposed to have, you know, an embellishment there. But, I mean, I think I'm not going to say I went overboard because I honestly love how it turned out. I really do. It's gorgeous. I love this collection. But it's a little more than a unicorn head. Let me put it that way. I decided to use the Nuvo glue on this piece of lace here just because there is tons of holes and it's laser cut. And I don't think the ATG would have done exactly right. So I did use my little wet glue there. And I'm going to stick all that down. And then I'm going to come in with my pictures in a second. Now, I don't yet have the far right-hand side on the sketch has like a little scallop border. I don't know when I do this, but I'm not going to use a scallop border, but I will put something there. So you'll see that in a minute. Let me see. What am I doing here, y'all? I've done forgot what I did. I think I'm looking through my ephemeris here to figure out what do I want to do next. Because I did kind of I'm pulling out stuff I know I'm not going to use. Okay, this is what, so it took me a second. I pulled all the ephemeras out. And then this is where I've decided, you know what, I'm going to use another one of the little pieces of faux lace on the far right-hand side of those pictures instead of the scallop border punch. And so I use a piece of double-sided tape to just hold it together. And I like how that looks. It's got the pink. And if I'm honest, I really love how it kind of offsets or is a counterpoint to the pink on the left-hand side. And then for the circular element where the title was going to go, I start with this tag. That was actually cut apart, or like I cut it out of the back of the collection's title page, if you want to call it that. And I start with it up and down, and then I decide, oh, that looks kind of cool if I turn it to the side. So I end up turning that to the side. And I did find this word beautiful in the ephemera. And I thought, you know what, that's a great title because I think she's beautiful. So we're going to use that. Now, I thought about putting the pictures up on foam, and I thought, nope, I'm going to put the title up on foam. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these guys down. And they're going to be flat on the page. I mean, as much as you can. There is a little bit of dimension on the layered little green frame there, but they're basically going flat. I think these pictures are kind of neat. I think they took them with an actual camera versus like a phone. So they're a little bit blurry. I don't know what the lighting was or anything, but I think they were trying to get sunset or something. And she's a little bit far away, but I still think she looks kind of cool. And I kind of have this vision of, you know, the train tracks or like the future or something. I don't know. It's just this concept in my head. I'm like, it's just, you know, I don't know, y'all. I can't even say it out. I can't think about what I want to say. I just know that gives me a certain kind of emotion, I guess is the point, when I look at the picture. And so for me, scrapbooking is kind of mostly about emotion, if I'm honest. I do document things. Obviously, I'll put dates, I'll put locations and names and things like that. But many, many times my layouts are about emotion. It's about love I have for somebody or how I'm feeling a certain kind of way that day or something like that. So if you ever wonder why I don't do a lot of journaling or a lot of documenting per se, it's because, again, the layout as a whole is kind of the point. It's the art for me. So I put some foam behind the title here. It is a little tricky because there are some really skinny letters on that word beautiful. So I had to really work with that and try to get teeny little pieces and really make them fit on there. Luckily, some of the skinniest pieces do kind of fit on top of the photos. And so I'm able to kind of support the title in that way. So I get that on there, and I think that looks really cute. Now, the next thing I decided to do, now on the sketch again, it just had like a circular element and then it had like a unicorn horn. And I go, okay, this flower looks kind of like it would go where the unicorn horn is. So I stuck that down there and I thought, oh, but these little tags, these little postage stamp looking things are real pretty. And one says beauty and one says lovely. And I'm like, oh, these are so pretty. Oh my gosh, these are so pretty. Y'all, I'm just drooling over this collection. And then the side over there had that date. It's, what is that, a tag or tab. Maybe it's really his tab. And luckily the ephemera had that in there, so I'm going to set that there for a second. I like that color. I decide on the postage stamps there, I'm going to put a little foam tape behind the top parts and lift those up. I do just a little bit of, you know, foam on many of the little pieces that I'm fixing to stick around here, because I'll end up sticking a couple more flowers. I'll stick some leaves. I think it looks so cool. I mean, I really built this cluster out quite a bit. I mean, honestly, more than the sketch kind of called for. On the other hand, sketches are for inspiration, right? So you can do what you want, and that's what I did. Okay, so I've got those two little pieces there glued down. I'm going to just use some Nuvo glue on the flower. I don't do anything dimensional to that flower because I will end up bringing in leaves in a minute. Here's where I'm going to go ahead and glue down that tab. I will take my pen. I'll show you guys. Now, I'm going to tell you in advance, and I'm sorry. My head gets in the camera. I cut out, honestly, several minutes of my head because y'all don't need to see my head and the hair and the frazzles. I did get it colored last night, though, y'all, so it wouldn't have been like you'd see a bunch of gray, which is nice, but you still don't want to see the top of my head. So I have to cut a bunch of that out. But I will end up using a marker on that side over there to make it look like faux stitching. So here's where I'm kind of picking at these leaves. A couple of them, they're real narrow and small, and I've probably tore them. So I'm kind of not messing with those. But I did find these bigger pieces of leaves, and I'm kind of setting those in there. And I'm going to take some foam, like I said, and put them on the upside on a couple of these leaves just to make them look interesting, if that makes sense. And I'm just going to use my Nuvo glue there. Let's see, is this where I'm pulling out my foam? Yeah. And it's funny too, I was actually, oh my gosh, y'all. I had a stack of layouts. I promise you, they were 2 feet tall. That is so embarrassing. And it's coming from, I think it was March, April, May. And I have my June, but they're set aside because I'll do a layout share at the end of the month. But I had March, April, May over there. And I got 2 albums arrived yesterday. And I thought, okay, I'm going to put all these things in here. Y'all, that took 2.5 albums, and one of the albums is really overstuffed. I really need another album. But I got them all off the floor, which is good. Of course, my daughter's making the comment. She says, Mama, some of these corners are bent. You left them on the floor too long. I've not ever really been that way. I used to put them away as I worked on them. But because I started doing layout shares here on YouTube, I kind of kept them out because it was a pain. I'm not going to sit there. First off, you can't see a layout share if I got it in a page protector because it's too shiny. And I don't want to go back through and take out 30-something layouts out of page protector. So I have to leave them out. Well, then once you've left them out, it becomes an insurmountable task to put them away. So I got to figure out a little bit better process. Maybe the end of each month I do the layout share and put the darn layouts away as soon as I did with the layout share. That might be my process. I do still need to get another album though because I'm completely out of albums and they're all full. All right, so I got my leaves glued down. Y'all, how pretty is that looking really? I'm serious, y'all. Is this not gorgeous? So I get my leaves glued down there. This collection, I just drool. It's funny because I do like Vicki Boutin too, and then I like Echo Park. I mean, all these things have a very different style, but I'm in love with all of them. How can that be, right? Okay, so here's another, the butterflies is the other thing I've pulled out. So I got, well, one of them I had cut out of like the cardstock thing, similar to when I did that tag. But the rest of them were in the ephemera, and they're some of them are kind of small, and I really just love that. Anything mini, right? So I'm going to glue basically the side with ATG, and then I'll put foam on a different side. So I'll do that on a couple different, ways. Here, I'll do some on the top and some on the sides, and I just give the butterflies little lift, so there's a little shadow under the wing, and I just love how this looks. And again, this is now, I'm not going to say I'm gone completely rogue from the sketch because it's not like, I mean, if you look at the sketch and you flip it, okay, if you hold your mouth this kind of way and you cross your eyes and that looks all like the sketch. No, but in all seriousness, you can still see the inspiration, I think, if you look at it, the flipped over or whatever. But yeah, I'm definitely deviating in the sense I'm adding little pieces and parts here and there that are not really technically drawn in the sketch. So that's okay though. That's okay. That's the point. I see y'all's layouts on the other videos, and some of them, I swear to y'all, I'm like, how did they get to that? But it's so beautiful. I'm like, oh my gosh, I wished I thought of that. Okay, so I'm just kind of putting all my butterflies together here. And this is taking me a few minutes, y'all. I probably should have cut out some of this, but I didn't. And hopefully you'll watch all the way through. I do need to try to get, I'm trying to get to those little YouTube measurements, right? That'll help you get your algorithms and whatnots. And I have to have like 4,000 watch hours. Is that crazy? 4,000. Like how long is that? I got to do the math. I don't even know. And I think my videos are somewhere around 500 hours or something like that. I'm like way far off, which is funny to me. I don't try to make them too long. Hey, y'all comment below. Are they the right length? I try to keep them between like 10 and 15 minutes because I know that's about my attention span. And I figure if that's my attention span, maybe I'm average. I'm hoping I'm the average YouTube viewer. So anyways, I've got the last little bit of these butterflies going on. And then I'm going to kind of cut over in a second. I guess I got to wrap up these butterflies. I don't do any sprinkles or anything. I just did a little bit of ink on the edges. But I'm going to come in a second. I almost forgot. I was cleaning up. And I even showed them to y'all in the intro. But I got those little what they call them? Bubbles and wishes or something like that. And I had the pink and the green laying there. And I asked my daughter. I said, hey, I want to put some of these little bubbles on here. Which one do you think? And I'm not going to tell you just yet because I'm fixing to cut over and show y'all the last little bit of my writing on this tab here. And then I'll show you the color that I picked. Yeah, so here's where my head's going to start popping in. And I'm going to have to apologize in advance. Look at that, y'all. My hair's totally not combed. I mean, it's just not combed. It's all over the place. I'm not going to lie, y'all. I get up in the morning. I go to the gym. I throw it in a ponytail. I hardly ever comb my hair. That's terrible, isn't it? Well, there's the color I picked. It's green. That's what she said. And I asked her, I said, why the green? And she goes, it just spoke to me. So I do pick out one of those little foam bubble. There's a little bubble that has a little foam underneath it, and it says Be You. And so after I get that, oh, I forgot to tell you, I pulled out that little piece of ephemera that says Believe in Yourself. I thought that was really sweet. So I put that on the right-hand side. But I'll pull out this little bubble here that says Be You. So it's going to be You Beautiful. And I'm going to put that, I think I set it down a couple places, and I go, oh, I'm going to put it right next to beautiful. And then I'm just going to pull out basically 3 little sets of 3 of these little enamel dots. Now, one of them kind of gives me a little fit because he come off his sticky thing, and I have to pick around with it to make it, like, go back to its sticky thing. I don't think it's this one. I think I get this one down all right. It's this next one. I pick it up, and it's like, it comes right off of its backing. And I'm like, what in the world? Yours crooked. And so I have to fix him, and I'm like messing with it. Yeah, my fingers, I don't know. Sometimes I don't think they work too good. Anyway, I kind of mess with it for just a second before I get it back down on there. I almost just took it off and used Nuvo glue, and I thought, no, there's an adhesive dot. Dang it, I'm going to use it. So I put the 3 there, and then we'll come down in the bottom and put those 3. And like I said, the bottom part down there, truthfully, the sketch is not reflective of that, but I added it because I just wanted to. And once I get those 3 down there done, I am done with this layout, y'all. It took me a little bit longer than yesterday's, which is totally fine. Some days take longer than others. I'm going to slow it down, though, for you so you can kind of see it up close. Look at that cluster, y'all. Oh, so pretty. I just love this collection. It's so nice and thick, too. It's a good quality paper. Look how pretty that is. I got to write the date up in there, so I'll do that before I put it away. But here's the close-ups. Again, you guys, check out the playlist below. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And, hey, watch my videos all the way to the end so I can get that algorithm. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.